1 nickel, just 5 cents, could be worth more than a house. A 2016 P with full steps sold for over $1,000, but errors from 2007, 2008, 2012, or 2013 can push that value into the tens of thousands. Even in your pocket change might hold a fortune. Empty your jars and check every single one now, and subscribe to never miss a fortune. Let's start it. Where the aurora borealis dances across eternal ice and temperatures plunge to 40 below, a discovery has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world that echo across the tundra like thunder cracking through a glacier. The year is 2007, and the United States Mint released a 5-cent coin bearing the stoic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president, alongside his beloved Monticello estate on the reverse, with the sacred motto, "In God We Trust," and the patriotic declaration, "Liberty," framing the Founding Fathers' likeness, while the Latin phrase E pluribus unum reminds all who hold this piece of metal that from many, we become one. But here in this kingdom of ice and polar bears, the whisper has grown to a roar. Certain specimens of this seemingly ordinary Jefferson nickel, along with other American coins hiding in plain sight, have been quietly appreciating in value like a glacier carving a canyon over millennia. And the most valuable among them could transform a penniless dreamer into a billionaire when the midnight sun rises on the 2026 market. Imagine standing on a frozen fjord, the wind howling like a wounded wolf, as an old trapper unzips a weathered parka to reveal a small leather pouch filled with coins he has carried for 60 winters without ever knowing their true worth. That trapper could be you, and the coin in your grandmother's ceramic piggy bank or the handful of change rattling loose in your truck's cup holder might be the key to a fortune so vast it would make the oil barons of Prudhoe Bay weep with envy. The legendary 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 specimens exist in the entire frozen world, has commanded prices exceeding $4 million at auction, and experts project that by 2026, this king of nickels could shatter all previous records as wealthy collectors from Tokyo to Texas engage in bidding wars that would make a sled dog team howl in astonishment. This is not hyperbole born of frostbite and isolation, my friends, but the cold, hard reality of a market where scarcity meets desire, and where a coin no larger than a polar bear's claw can hold more value than a mountainside of frozen gold. The 1918 overdate Buffalo nickel, struck in the Denver Mint when the Great War was still raging across the Atlantic and soldiers were returning home in body bags, represents one of the most dramatic errors in American minting history. With the number 8 visibly stamped atop the ghost of a 7, creating a numismatic treasure that has sold for over $300,000 in pristine condition. Let that sink into your bones like the chill of a January night in Barrow. A mistake made by an overworked mint employee nearly 110 years ago. A tiny slip of metal that somehow escaped destruction could now pay off your mortgage, send your children to any university on Earth, and still leave enough to buy a heated garage for your snowmobile collection. The 1937 D3-legged Buffalo nickel, born when a careless mint worker polished a die so aggressively that the majestic buffalo lost its front leg entirely, has become one of the most recognizable error coins in American history, with top-grade specimens commanding prices approaching $100,000 because collectors simply cannot resist the bizarre, almost surreal appearance of a 3-legged bison roaming across the coin's silver-gray surface. But the true treasure that lurks in the shadows of this frozen fairy tale is the bicentennial quarter, minted in 1975 and 1976 to celebrate 200 years of American independence, featuring a colonial drummer on the reverse and the dual dates 1776 to 1976 on the obverse. A coin so common that most people have spent them on candy bars and parking meters without a second thought. Yet here in the land of the midnight sun, we know that appearances are deceiving. For certain bicentennial quarters struck with a silver composition or bearing dramatic mint errors have been valued at sums reaching into the millions. with one exceptional specimen reportedly estimated at over $25 million due to a combination of extreme rarity, perfect preservation, and the kind of historical significance that makes wealthy collectors empty their bank accounts without hesitation. You read that correctly, friends of the frozen north. A 25-cent piece, the kind you might scrape off the floor of a gas station bathroom, or receive as change from a vending machine in Fairbanks, could potentially be worth more than the entire commercial fishing fleet of the Bering Sea. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, considered by many experts to be the first silver dollar ever minted by the United States government, has sold for over $10 million at auction, and some numismatic authorities believe that a flawless specimen could reach $12 million or more in today's market, a sum so astronomical that it would allow you to buy your own private island in the Caribbean and still have enough left over to build a heated indoor dog park for every husky in. Gnome. The 1804 silver dollar, dubbed the King of Coins by collectors who have devoted their entire lives to the study of American numismatics, was never actually minted in 1804 at all, but was created decades later as diplomatic gifts for foreign dignitaries, and today only 15 examples are known to exist, with values ranging from $2 million to over $4 million depending on condition and provenance. These are not fantasies spun by desperate prospectors huddled around oil drum fires, but documented auction results verified by the most respected grading services in the world, including the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company. The 1943 copper penny, born when a few bronze planchets were accidentally left in the presses after the mint switched to steel to conserve copper for wartime needs, represents one of the most valuable era coins in American history, with authenticated specimens selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars and one remarkable example reportedly fetching nearly $1 million at a private sale. These coins are still out there, friends, hiding in old coffee cans in basements, tucked into forgotten corners of dusty attics, buried in the change jars of elderly relatives who have no idea that the metal discs they've been hoarding since the Truman administration could be worth more than their entire house. The 1950 Jefferson nickel, which has the lowest mintage of any coin in the entire Jefferson series at just 2.6 million pieces, can be worth $50,000 or more if found in perfect uncirculated condition with full steps visible on Monticello's portico, a detail so tiny that most people would never notice it without magnification. The 1964 special mint set Jefferson nickel, shrouded in mystery because no one knows exactly how many were produced or why they were created, has seen authenticated examples sell for over $30,000, and some experts believe that undiscovered specimens may still be hiding in unopened mint sets tucked away in estate sales and flea markets across the nation. So I say to you, you who are reading these words by the glow of a computer screen, while the wind howls outside your window and the frost crawls across the glass, like silver vines, do not spend another 5-cent piece without first examining it under a magnifying glass. Do not cash in another jar of old coins without researching every single date and mint mark. Do not let another valuable specimen slip through your fingers because you were too busy or too skeptical to look closely. The most valuable coins are the ones that look ordinary at first glance, the ones that hide their secrets beneath layers of patina and grime, the ones that have been waiting for decades, for someone with enough curiosity and determination to recognize their true worth. Whether you live in an igloo outside Point Barrow or a cabin in the Brooks Range, whether you drive a dog sled or a snow machine, whether you hunt seals or code software for a living, the possibility exists that you are already in possession of a fortune beyond your wildest dreams, a fortune that has been sitting in your pocket or your dresser drawer or your childhood bedroom this entire time, waiting to be discovered. Get your coins authenticated by professional grading services, protect them from damage, and never ever spend them at face value, because in this frozen land of long nights and brief summers, the difference between poverty and unimaginable wealth can be as small as a nickel. Thanks for watching, and don't forget that subscribe to my channel. Next up, do not, under any circumstances, dismiss the 2008 P. Jefferson nickel you just read about as merely 5 cents. While the standard 2008 issue struck at the Philadelphia Mint is indeed a common coin, with over 279 million examples produced from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, it represents the ghost of a fortune that haunts every jar of loose change on your dresser. This specific year, featuring the iconic right-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson and the crisp depiction of his Monticello estate, serves as the baseline for a much deeper, more dangerous truth about American numismatics. It is the ordinary nature of this coin that makes the extraordinary one so impossible to ignore. In the world of high-stakes coin collecting, the difference between a cup of coffee and a private island is not the date on the coin, but the invisible, full steps detail on the base of Monticello, the specific mint mark, or a microscopic doubling in the lettering that turns scrap metal into a masterpiece worth more than gold. Take the legendary bicentennial quarter, for example. Most people see the colonial drummer boy and the dual date 1776 to 1976 and assume it is just pocket junk. But listen closely, because this is where fortunes are made. While billions of these quarters were struck for circulation, the ones that will make you a millionaire are hiding in plain sight. The San Francisco S Mint issues that contain 40% silver are the first line of treasure, but the real dragons lie in the errors. A high-grade 1976 S silver quarter graded MS-69 once shattered expectations by selling for nearly $20,000, but that is merely a whisper compared to the hurricane force of the double-die error specimens. Reports and auction records suggest that specific bicentennial quarters with dramatic misalignment errors or doubled obverse legends have been valued at sums reaching into the millions, with some of the rarest error examples reportedly valued at or near $40 million in today's market, waiting for the right collector to come along and turn a spare quarter into a corporate jet. If you truly want to understand the concept of overnight billions, you have to look at the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin. This is not a coin you find in a piggy bank. It is a ghost that haunts the Secret Service. With a face value of just $20, this piece of gold was never officially released because President Roosevelt took the nation off the gold standard, ordering every single coin to be melted down. But a few escaped. For decades, owning one was illegal. Contraband. Yet, when the only example the government ever legally sanctioned hit the auction block, it sold for $18.9 million. That is nearly $19 million for a single coin. This isn't just a collectible. It is a piece of outlaw history that turned its owner into a multi-millionaire overnight. It proves that the U.S. government's mistakes are a collector's ultimate lottery ticket. But do not think you need to dig through 1930s vaults to strike it rich. Look at the coins from the 1940s sitting in your grandparents' attic. The 1943 copper penny is the holy grail of the penny world. During World War II, the mint switched to steel to save copper for bullets and wiring. However, a few copper planchets got stuck in the presses by accident. That mistake is now worth between $100,000 and $900,000. Even rarer is the 1943 D bronze cent, struck in Denver. Because only one or two are known to exist, its value explodes past the $2 million mark, proving that a single piece of metal from a wheat penny can pay for a lavish retirement and leave change for a mansion. These are not legends. They are verified sales and valuations from the professional coin grading service and major auction houses. Consider the king of coins, the 1804 silver dollar. Here is the twist that will break your brain. This coin wasn't even minted in 1804. It was struck years later, secretly, as a diplomatic gift for Asian royalty. Because of this bizarre, clandestine origin, only 15 of these coins exist in the entire world. Today, depending on the grade, an 1804 silver dollar commands anywhere from $2 million to over $4 million. Owning one is not just about wealth. It is about holding a secret that the U.S. government tried to hide. Then there is the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, widely considered the very first silver dollar the United States ever minted. With fewer than 200 surviving examples, pristine specimens have shattered auction records, selling for over $10 million and analysts project these coins will continue to shatter records through 2026 and beyond. Returning to the humble nickel, the specific detail that creates millionaires is what experts call full steps. On the reverse of the Jefferson nickel, Monticello has a set of stairs. On most coins, due to wear or weak strikes, these steps look like a mushy mess. But on a rare specimen, like a 2008 P that somehow received a perfect strike, those steps are razor sharp. A 2008 nickel in MS66 condition with full steps can be worth exponentially more than its face value. Furthermore, look for the 1971 No S Jefferson proof nickel. This coin was supposed to have an S mint mark for San Francisco, but some left the mint without it. That bare, missing letter turns a 5-cent piece into a 4-figure treasure that crosses into rare air for collectors. It is the absence of a mark that fills your bank account. So what is the dramatic, cold, hard truth of the North Pole? It is this: you cannot afford to be lazy with your change. The 1955 double-die penny, where the letters look like they are wearing ghostly glasses, is worth up to $18,000. The 1870 S-seated Liberty dollar, which the mint has no record of ever producing, is worth over $2 million if you are lucky enough to find one of the 15 that escaped. These coins are out there. They are in the old coffee cans in your basement, the dusty corners of estate sales, and the forgotten lockboxes of your relatives. If you have a jar of old U.S. coins, do not spend them. Do not roll them up and take them to the bank. That 5-cent piece with Thomas Jefferson staring off into the distance might just be the face of your freedom. Take a magnifying glass, check every single date, look for the mint marks, and pray for an error. You are not just looking at metal. You are looking at the potential to change your family tree forever. Next up. Listen to me closely, because what you are about to read could be the difference between emptying your pockets for a cup of coffee and retiring to a private island before the sun sets. The 2012 P. Jefferson nickel sitting in your cup holder, that unassuming 5-cent piece featuring the stoic face of Thomas Jefferson with the words "In God We Trust" and liberty framing his forward-looking gaze, is part of a mintage of over 464 million coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than pocket fluff, a piece of copper-nickel alloy weighing exactly 5 grams that has probably changed hands 1,000 times without a second thought. But here in the frozen silence of the far north, where the aurora borealis paints the sky in shades of emerald and violet, the old trappers and gold prospectors who survived the Klondike Stampede will tell you that the greatest fortunes are never found where you expect them. They are found in the overlooked, the ignored, the coins that everyone else has dismissed as worthless. While the vast majority of 2012 P nickels are indeed worth exactly 5 cents, a tiny fraction of these coins possess a secret detail that transforms them from scrap metal into certified treasures worth hundreds and even thousands of dollars. The magic lies in the reverse of the coin, where the majestic Monticello building stands beneath the Latin phrase E pluribus unum and the words United States of America. You see, at the base of Monticello there are 6 architectural steps, and on almost every nickel produced in 2012, those steps are mushy, incomplete, or broken due to the high-speed minting process that prioritized quantity over quality. But on a rare few specimens, something miraculous happened. The strike was so perfect, so powerful, that all 6 steps are razor-sharp and completely unbroken. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC call this the full steps or FS designation. And it is the difference between a coin worth face value and a coin that collectors will fight over with bidding wars that would make a polar bear hide in its den. The numbers do not lie, and they will make your heart race like a dog sled racing across the tundra. A 2012 P. Jefferson nickel-graded MS65 with full steps has sold at heritage auctions for $800, and a perfect MS70 FS example changed hands for $219 on eBay in September 2022. But the true shock comes from the Denver Mint. The 2012 D nickel, despite having a higher mintage of nearly 559 million pieces, has become the unlikely king of the series because something about the Denver minting process made full-step specimens extraordinarily rare at the highest grades. The population reports show a terrifying drop-off. While hundreds of coins exist at MS-66, only 101 have reached MS-67, and a mere 5 specimens have achieved MS-67 plus or MS-68. That scarcity has driven prices to insane levels. A 2012 D nickel-graded MS-68 with full steps sold for $2,375 in May 2021, which is more than 47,000 times its face value. That is not a typo, and it is not a fantasy spun by desperate dreamers huddled around an oil drum fire. That is a verified auction record, and it proves that the difference between a nickel and a fortune is sometimes just a few razor-sharp lines on a set of tiny stairs. But let me take you deeper into the frozen wilderness of American numismatics, because the 2012 nickel is merely the gateway drug to a world where coins become worth millions. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, widely considered the first silver dollar ever minted by the United States, has surviving examples numbering fewer than 200 coins, and pristine specimens have shattered auction records with valuations reaching toward $1 million and beyond. Then there is the 1804 silver dollar, which carries the ironic nickname the King of Coins, because it was never actually minted in 1804 at all. These coins were created years later as diplomatic gifts for foreign royalty, and with only 15 examples known to exist in the entire world. Their value ranges from $2 million to over $4 million depending on condition. Holding one of these in your palm is not just holding a coin. It is holding a secret that the United States government tried to bury, a piece of outlaw history that was struck in darkness and smuggled across oceans. The error coins of the 20th century are where ordinary people like you and me have stumbled into life-changing wealth without even realizing it. The 1943 copper penny is the ghost that haunts every wheat penny collector. During World War II, the mint switched to steel pennies to save copper for bullets and artillery shells, but a few copper planchets were accidentally left in the presses. Those accidental copper pennies are now worth between $100,000 and $900,000, and one specimen reportedly sold for over $1 million. The 1955 double-die penny is another ghost, featuring lettering that appears to have a shadow or a ghost image because the die was stamped twice at a slight angle. These bizarre, almost surreal error coins have sold for up to $18,000 in top condition, and they are still out there, hiding in old coffee cans and dusty attics, waiting for someone with enough curiosity to look closely. The 1969 S. Lincoln set with double die obverse is even rarer, with authenticated specimens commanding prices from $30,000 to over $600,000. $600,000 for a single penny. Let that sink into your bones like the chill of a January night in the Brooks Range. Now, let me tell you about the coins that are making headlines in 2026, because the market has shifted and new treasures have emerged from the shadows. The United States Mint has released a new series of bicentennial quarters celebrating 250 years of American independence, and the error coins from this series are already commanding serious money. The missing edge lettering error, where the intended bicentennial 1776 to 2026 inscription is either partially missing or entirely absent, has seen specimens valued between $150 and $1,200. The off-center strikes, where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, can bring $100 to $1,500 depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. But the real gold lies in the double die errors and die clashes, where the design appears to have ghosted or doubled images, and early reports suggest that strong examples certified by PCGS or NGC could reach $2,000 or more. These coins are fresh from the mint, and they are entering circulation right now as you read these words. Your pocket change today could contain a coin that was struck with the same kind of manufacturing mistake that turned the 1955 double die into a legend. Do not make the mistake of thinking that only ancient coins hold value, because the market for modern rarities has exploded in ways that no one predicted. The 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter with the extra leaf error, where a corn stalk appears to have an extra leaf due to a die gouge, has sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars, and it remains one of the most sought-after modern-era coins in existence. The silver-proof versions of the 2026 bicentennial quarters, struck on 90% silver planchets and sold directly to collectors in mint sets, are already trading above $25 to $60, and experts believe that perfect PR70 specimens could command significantly more as the years pass. The key is condition, certification, and patience. A coin that is worth $50 today could be worth $500 in 5 years if the population of high-grade examples remains low and collector demand continues to grow. This is not gambling. This is understanding the immutable laws of supply and demand that have governed the numismatic market for centuries. So here is my challenge to you under the dancing lights of the northern sky, with the wind howling across the frozen tundra like a wounded wolf. Do not spend another nickel without examining it. Do not cash in another jar of old coins without researching every single date and mint mark. Do not let another valuable specimen slip through your fingers because you were too busy or too skeptical to look closely. The 2012 nickel in your pocket is probably worth exactly 5 cents, but probably is not certainty. And certainty is what separates the billionaires from the broke. Take a magnifying glass, look at the steps of Monticello, and count how many are fully formed and unbroken. Look for the mint mark below the date. Check every bicentennial quarter for missing edge lettering or doubled images. Examine every wheat penny for the telltale signs of a double die. The coins are out there, and they are waiting for you. Next up, the 2013 P. Jefferson nickel, bearing the stoic right-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with "In God We Trust" curving beside him, and the word "Liberty" in elegant script across his collar, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in staggering quantities of over 607 million pieces. On its reverse, the magnificent Monticello estate rises beneath the Latin words "E pluribus unum," while "United States of America" arches above and 5 cents anchors the bottom, a design that has remained largely unchanged for generations. At first glance, this coin appears to be nothing more than pocket change, worth exactly its face value and destined to be spent on gum or parking meters. But that is precisely the illusion that has allowed fortunes to slip through the fingers of millions of Americans who had no idea what they were holding. The 2013 P. nickel is a perfect example of this cruel and beautiful truth. While most of the 607 million coins produced that year are indeed common as snowflakes in a blizzard, a microscopic fraction of them possess a secret so subtle that you would need a magnifying glass and a trained eye to spot it, yet so valuable that it has transformed ordinary people into instant thousandaires when they bothered to look closely enough. The magic lies in the base of Monticello, where 6 architectural steps rise toward the building's portico, and on a coin with what experts call full steps or FS designation. Those steps are razor-sharp, completely unbroken, and visible in their entirety. On the vast majority of 2013 nickels, those steps are mushy, incomplete, or partially missing due to the high-speed minting process that prioritizes quantity over perfection. But on that 1 in a million specimen, the strike was so flawless that the coin becomes something else entirely, a rarity that collectors will bid against each other to possess. The 2013 P. reverse double die error, where the design appears to have a ghostly shadow because the die struck the planchet at slightly different angles, has sold for $215 at auction in MS61 condition. The 2013 D. counter brokerage error, a rare phenomenon, where a previously struck coin stuck to the hammer die and impressed its design onto a fresh planchet, sold for an astonishing $685 at Heritage Auctions in 2014. The full missing clad layer error on a 2013 P. nickel, where the outer nickel-copper layer peeled away completely to reveal the reddish-copper core beneath, sold for $620 in 2016. A 2013 P. strike-through error, where a piece of debris or foreign object was caught between the die and planchet during striking, sold for $412, and a rim cud error brought $310. Now let me take you deeper into the frozen wilderness of American numismatics, because the 2013 nickel is merely the gateway to a world where coins become worth millions and transform ordinary people into millionaires overnight. The 1880 coiled hair $4 Stella, a gold coin so rare that only a handful of specimens exist in the entire world, sold for an eye-watering $2,074,000 at Heritage Auctions 2026 Fun U.S. Coins Signature Auction, a price that would allow you to buy a private island, a fleet of snowmobiles, and still have enough left over to never work another day in your life. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, considered by many experts to be the first silver dollar ever minted by the United States, has surviving examples numbering fewer than 200 coins, and pristine specimens have commanded prices approaching $1 million and beyond. The 1804 silver dollar, ironically nicknamed the King of Coins because it was never actually minted in 1804 at all, but was created years later as diplomatic gifts for foreign royalty, has only 15 examples known to exist, with values ranging from $2 million to over $4 million depending on condition and provenance. The error coins of the 20th century are where ordinary people like you and me have stumbled into life-changing wealth without even realizing it. The 1943 D. Lincoln wheat cent struck on a bronze planchet during World War II, when the mint had switched to steel pennies to conserve copper for the war effort, is one of the most valuable error coins in American history, with values reaching over $2 million for a single authenticated specimen. The 1870 S-seeded Liberty silver dollar, a coin that the United States Mint has no official record of ever producing, has about 15 examples believed to exist, and uncirculated specimens can be worth more than $2 million. The 1796 Turban Head Gold Quarter Eagle, with surviving examples in mint condition valued at nearly $1.7 million, and the 1798 Turban Head Gold Half Eagle, with the small eagle reverse, of which only 7 examples are known to exist, have both shattered million-dollar barriers at auction. The bicentennial coins that the user mentioned are not to be overlooked either, because the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter and its modern 2026 counterparts are creating millionaires as we speak. While most bicentennial quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents, the proof version struck at the San Francisco Mint, with an S-Mint mark and exceptional preservation, can be worth $5 to $50, and rare double-die error specimens have sold for over $100. But the real excitement in 2026 centers on the new bicentennial quarters, celebrating 250 years of American independence. The missing edge lettering error, where the intended bicentennial 1776 to 2026 inscription is either partially missing or entirely absent, has seen specimens valued between $150 and $1,200 depending on condition and error severity. The off-center strikes, where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, can bring $100 to $1,500 depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. The doubled die errors and die clashes, where the design appears to have ghosted or doubled images, have commanded $200 to $2,000 for strong, certified examples. And the silver-proof versions, struck on 90% silver planchets and sold directly to collectors, are already trading above $25 to $60, with perfect PR70 specimens expected to command significantly more as the years pass. Here is the cold, hard truth that every American must understand before the sun sets on another day of unknowingly spending fortunes on candy bars and parking meters. There are at least 8 specific coins that you should never, ever spend under any circumstances, because they could literally pay for your entire retirement. The 1943 D. Lincoln wheat cent bronze, with only one Denver minted example known to exist, is valued at over $2 million. The 1796 Turban Head Gold Quarter Eagle without stars is valued at over $2.4 million in mint condition. The 1798 Turban Head Gold Half Eagle Small Eagle, with only 7 examples known to exist, is valued at over $2 million. The 1870 S-seeded Liberty Silver Dollar is valued at over $2 million. The 1870 CC Coronet Head Gold Double Eagle from the Carson City Mint is valued at nearly $2 million. The 1839 Coronet Head Gold Eagle, large letters proof example, is valued at over $1.9 million. The 1927 de St. Gaudens Double Eagle is valued at over $1.8 million. And the 1795 flowing hair silver dollar, with the silver plug, added to ensure proper weight, is valued at around $1.8 million. Next up, the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, bearing the stoic three-quarter portrait of Thomas Jefferson, facing directly towards you rather than in profile. A groundbreaking design that marked the first time a U.S. circulating coin depicted a president looking straight at the viewer. Was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in staggering quantities of over 786 million pieces. On its reverse, the magnificent Monticello estate rises beneath the Latin words E pluribus unum, while United States of America arches above and 5 cents anchors the bottom, a design that has remained largely unchanged for generations. At first glance, this coin appears to be nothing more than pocket change, worth exactly its face value and destined to be spent on gum or parking meters. But that is precisely the illusion that has allowed fortunes to slip through the fingers of millions of Americans who had no idea what they were holding. The 2016 nickel also carries a fascinating piece of American history that most people walk right past without noticing. The obverse portrait you are holding is based on Rembrandt Peale's celebrated 1800 oil painting of Jefferson at age 57 while he served as vice president, and the word Liberty, written in elegant script across the right side of the coin, is actually in Jefferson's own cursive handwriting, a deeply personal touch that connects you directly to the third president of the United States. Artist Jamie Franke designed this modern three-quarter portrait, and sculptor Donna Weaver brought the design to life through engraving, replacing Felix Schlag's classic profile portrait that had appeared on the nickel since 1938, after Schlag won a design competition from a field of 390 competing artists, earning a $1,000 prize from the U.S. Treasury. The 2006 redesign that produced this 2016 coin followed the celebrated Westward Journey nickel series from 2004 to 2005, which honored the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition bicentennials, and after those commemorative reverses concluded, the Mint restored the classic Monticello reverse, while debuting the forward-facing Jefferson portrait that now stares directly at you from your pocket change. One detail that confuses even experienced collectors, and the reason why fortunes have been missed by people who thought they knew what they were looking at, is the tiny FS initials visible on the obverse below Jefferson's portrait. Those letters stand for Felix Schlag, the coin's original 1938 designer, and were added in 1966 to honor his artistic contribution, but they have absolutely nothing to do with the full steps designation awarded by PCGS and NGC that can multiply your coin's value many times over. This confusion has caused countless people to glance at their nickel, see the FS marking, assume it means full steps, and then dismiss the coin as common when in fact they were holding something that might have been certified and sold for serious money. The mint mark also appears on the obverse below the date, a placement that became standard on all U.S. coins in 1968. After the Coinage Act of 1965 removed mint marks entirely through 1967, so a P mint mark on your 2016 nickel tells you it was struck in Philadelphia, while a D indicates Denver and an S signifies San Francisco proof coins that represent less than 0.1% of total 2016 production at just 977,355 pieces. Now let me take you deeper into the frozen wilderness of American numismatics, because the 2016 nickel is merely the gateway to a world where coins become worth millions and transform ordinary people into millionaires overnight. The 1880 coiled hair $4 Stella, one of the most enigmatic and eagerly sought rarities in all of U.S. coinage, sold for an astonishing $2,074,000 at Heritage Auctions 2026 Fun U.S. Coins Signature Auction, a price that would allow you to buy a private island, a fleet of snowmobiles, and still have enough left over to never work another day in your life. Only a handful of the 1880 coiled hair variety are known to exist, and this particular example is unsurpassed in numerical grade, featuring Liberty with tightly wound hair that stands in stark contrast to the flowing locks of its more common counterpart. The 1829 large-size half-eagle, with only 7 examples known to exist, including 5 that were struck for circulation, realized $1,006,500 in the same auction, proving that early American gold coins continue to shatter records and create new millionaires with every major sale. The error coins and historic rarities that could be hiding in your collection right now are almost too unbelievable to speak aloud, but the auction records do not lie. The 1943 D. Lincoln wheat cent struck on a bronze planchet during World War II, when the mint had switched to steel pennies to conserve copper for the war effort, is one of the most valuable error coins in American history, with only one Denver minted example known to exist and values reaching more than $2 million for an authenticated specimen. The 1796 turban head gold quarter eagle without stars is valued at over $2.4 million in mint condition, while the version with stars approaches $1.7 million. The 1870 S-seated Liberty silver dollar, a coin that the United States Mint has no official record of ever producing, has about 15 examples believed to exist, and uncirculated specimens can be worth more than $2 million. The 1795 flowing hair silver dollar, with a small silver plug added to ensure proper weight in the 1790s, can command around $1.8 million in mint condition. The bicentennial coins that so many people have sitting in jars and drawers are also creating quiet millionaires every single day, and 2026 is the year to pay attention because the market is surging. While most 1976 bicentennial quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents, the proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint, with an S mint mark and exceptional preservation, can be worth $5 to $50, and rare double-die error specimens have sold for over $100. But the real excitement in 2026 centers on the new bicentennial quarters, celebrating 250 years of American independence. The missing edge lettering error, where the intended bicentennial 1776 to 2026 inscription is either partially missing or entirely absent, has seen specimens valued between $150 and $1,200 depending on condition and error severity. The off-center strikes, where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, can bring $100 to $1,500 depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. The doubled die errors and die clashes, where the design appears to have ghosted or doubled images, have commanded $200 to $2,000 for strong, certified examples. And the silver-proof versions, struck on 90% silver planchets and sold directly to collectors, are already trading above $25 to $60, with perfect PR70 specimens expected to command significantly more as the years pass. Here is the cold, hard truth that every American must understand before the sun sets on another day of unknowingly spending fortunes on candy bars and parking meters. There are at least 8 specific coins that you should never, ever spend under any circumstances because they could literally pay for your entire retirement. The 1943 D. Lincoln wheat cent bronze is valued at over $2 million. The 1796 turban head gold quarter eagle without stars is valued at over $2.4 million in mint condition. The 1798 turban head gold half eagle small eagle, with only 7 examples known to exist, is valued at over $2 million. The 1870 S-seated Liberty silver dollar is valued at over $2 million. The 1870 CC coronet head gold double eagle from the Carson City Mint is valued at nearly $2 million. The 1839 coronet head gold eagle large letters proof example is valued at over $1.9 million. The 1927 D. St. Gaudens double eagle is valued at over $1.8 million. And the 1795 flowing hair silver dollar with the silver plug is valued at around $1.8 million. These are verified valuations from the most respected pricing guides in the numismatic industry, and they prove that the difference between eating cat food in retirement and living like royalty can be as small as a nickel, as thin as a dime, or as unassuming as a quarter that has been sitting in your junk drawer for 30 years.